Hey guys, I am back here today to talk to you a little bit more about food and our relationship with food. And one of the exercises that's actually in the book that I read, The Food, the Good Girl's Drug, is talking about what your shoulds are. Okay? And are we shoulding all over ourselves? I said should, SHOULD. And what are our shoulds? That's really difficult to say. So what you need to do is actually let go of those unrealistic expectations that we may have when it comes to our goals. And I know that we all want to set really big goals and try to reach them, but we need to really look at if we're setting realistic goals and are we the type of person who's going to get really down on ourselves if we don't reach those goals? Are we setting them too big, not hitting them, and then feeling like a big failure? So if so, we need to actually analyze them. So first, what you can do is make a list of some of the things that you think you should look like, and be able to do. This is very key, this first step, in actually understanding and being self-aware enough to know what is it that you actually expect from yourself, right? And then for each of these shoulds that you write down in the list, write down where you learned that it was important, okay? Did it come from you genuinely, or is it because you saw somebody else like that, or was your sister like that, was your brother like that, are your parents, have they grown up that way? What is it that's influenced you? Maybe it was the media, social media, different things like that, Facebook, your friends. What is it that influenced you to feel like that was an expected behavior or an unrealistic expectation that you may have had for yourself? And again, like TV shows, a lot of times we watch TV shows. So make sure you're having a look at that and write down next to it where they all came from. Then what you want to do is ask yourself why you believe it's important to look or be that way or do those things. Is it actually important to you to be those things? Does it really, really matter to you that you have a six pack and a tan and blonde hair? Right? Or are these things that the media has kind of put on us to believe that that's what we need to feel that way? Or do you genuinely feel like you need to be and look that way in order to be confident? Okay, so this step is like the first step, make the list. The second one, write down next to those items why you feel that way. Is it coming from you, or is it somebody else's expectations of you that makes you feel that way? And then ask yourself why you believe it's important, okay? So what will being or doing those things get you in life? Do you think that by, reaching that goal weight that you're going to have acceptance and love? Or do you feel by completing some kind of education degree that you're going to gain respect from people in society? Do you actually want a degree? Do you want a 4-year degree to go to school just so that people can think that you're intelligent? Or can you prove it and show it in other ways, right? So this is more than the nutrition, obviously, and food that I'm talking about today, but it all comes back to mindset, guys. It all comes back to the mindset. Will looking a certain way feel like it's going to give you more friends or a certain type of group of friends that you've wanted to belong to? And if so, why do you want to belong to that group of people? If you're in a group of people who judge everything about you, why do you want to hang out with those people? What does hanging out with those people give you, or how does that make you feel? Okay, so you really need to understand where all this is coming from and where your self-esteem is at this point right now and what expectations you have. And the last thing you'll do is ask yourself, what would happen if you didn't try to do that anymore? So if you just gave up right now and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do what makes me happy. I don't care what everybody else thinks. I don't care if I'm not a size 4. I don't care that I'm not, putting a diploma up on my wall or degree. Whatever it is, you need to look and say, like, does it truly matter what it is you're doing? Or are you more concerned with making yourself happy and being happy with what you have? Or there's nothing wrong with pushing yourself, obviously. I'm not saying don't do that and settle. But if you are happy with what you're doing, why do you need to change, okay? When it comes to food and nutrition, I don't mean to say that screw it, I'm going to eat all the food that I want to eat, because again, we know what that's like when we have that emotional attachment to food. Okay, so don't think that that's kind of what I'm getting across. But what I want to say is don't eat certain foods or diet or get into weight loss because you are trying to prove it to somebody else or to fit in with somebody else or anything like that. Do it because you want to feel energized, healthy, and strong, or whatever it is your goal may be, right? So maybe it is weight loss. Maybe you have an extra 100 pounds on than what would be healthy for you, then obviously that's a key goal. But don't do it for anybody else. Stop setting the unrealistic expectations and being so hard on ourselves when we don't hit those goals. And instead of saying, I failed at something, you say, I'm a failure. And there's a problem with that, right? Like, we don't want to get into this whole beating ourselves up over things when we miss a couple workouts or we have a cheat meal or we miss a few of our shakes. It's not about that. It's about checking in regardless, being like, you know what, I'm human, I slipped up, but you know what, I'm still working towards these goals and I have an amazing group of people surrounding me to help support me in doing this, right? Being a coach, guys, is unbelievable, being surrounded by people all the time. So not only do I have my own roller coaster of emotions and ups and downs with my own health and fitness journey, I'm also dealing with other people's as well and trying to support them, which for some people is very overwhelming. And I get that it can be, but it's because you let yourself get overwhelmed. So instead, what I do is I like that as a learning experience. And whenever somebody comes to me and says they're overwhelmed or they slipped up and they're feeling guilty and all these kind of things, it makes me realize of what I'm doing and how I'm human too, and I have the same issues and we're all the same, but we're just there to support each other. And that's what I love about it. It's not about being perfect, right? It's not about having the best week. It's about pushing yourself to do the best that you can do, be the best version of you. And that is it. As long as you go to bed at the end of the day and you feel happy with what you've done, how you've acted towards people, what you've done with how people have acted towards you, how you've responded to them, all these kind of things. At the end of the day, go to bed with a happy heart and a happy mind and know that you did the best that you could do that day. All right? So that's it. I just wanted to get that little bit of an activity. If you want, you guys can do it and you can post it below, but it is kind of a personal thing, so I understand if you don't want to. But I'm definitely going to do this exercise myself and put it into my planner. So hopefully you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.